Memphis. It's time for Wolo Friends on Sports 56. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Wolo. Look up on the wall. There on the wall.
Welcome in on what will be a fabulous Friday. We almost had history at Quail Hollow. I don't know if you're following this, but you know, I believe it's the 14th hole. It is a drivable par 4. Max Homa was on the tee box. Just as he was about to tee off, Andy North, who I think does a great job for ESPN. Andy North only won 2 tournaments of any importance. They were both U.S. Opens. But his insight is terrific. I like his sense of humor. I think he's a warm and fuzzy guy on the air. And he said, this one today, I don't know how many will go for it because it's in a tougher pin position. We had all these guys make the green. I don't remember the number, but a good percentage tried to make the green yesterday. A lot of them ended up on this hill on what would be the right side if you're facing the green. And it was a tougher up and down. So there weren't that many birdies there, but it was tough. And he goes, today, tougher pin position. I don't know how many will even go for it or will make this green. And then Max Homa hits it. And then Max Homa hits left side of the green. And then it starts to feed. And then Andy North says, well, I don't know what I'm talking about because that ball almost went in the hole. It would have been the first hole-in-one on a par 4 in the history of major championship golf. He had literally less than a foot tap in for an eagle. Elijah Seegers, did you see this on the replay or anything?
I did not see this. This sounds incredible.
Oh,
That's
great.
An incredible feat.
It was amazing. It was outstanding. We'll keep our eye on the leaderboard. So Homa is hot. He got that eagle, right? Max Homa's played 13 holes. He's 6 under today, 4 under for the tournament. Jonathan Vegas, who had that 7 under 64 and the overnight lead in the tournament, he still leads. He's 1 over through 6, so he had an early bogey. 6 under, 1 better than Thorbjornsen, who's having one heck of a year. He's 2 under today. Now 5 under for the tournament, Aaron Rai. He's played 10 today. He's -1, 5 under for the tournament. And Ryan Gerard is 5 under as well. So you got one guy at 6 and then 3 guys at 5 under. And you're going to say to me, who is Ryan Gerard? Because I got to be honest with you. I said, who is Ryan Gerard? So I looked him up. 22-year-old guy from Raleigh-Durham, American guy. And on top of that, played at the University of North Carolina, went pro 2 years ago. This is his 3rd year on the tour. And he's in the thick of it. He had a great 66 yesterday. So that was terrific for him. The Frenchman, Pavon, is at 4 under. Spawn's at 4 under, an American. And Max Homa now at 4 under. And there's others that haven't teed off. Stefan Jaeger, Smalley, Ryan Fox is at 4 under. Luke Donald is at 4. And that'd be a heck of a story if Luke Donald actually had a great tournament from out of nowhere today. Smiley, Hovland, Pendrith, Cam Davis, 2 over today. He was in the thick of it yesterday. He just had a double bogey, so he's 3 under. Keegan Bradley hasn't teed off. Neither has Højgaard. They're all 3 under. Robert McIntyre, Matthew Fitzpatrick, the Spaniard Echeverria, Poston. This is going to be just a great tournament. There's so many bottlenecked at 3. Now, the great players yesterday, the trio that everybody's watching, they didn't have such a great day. Scheffler was 2 under, so that was pretty good. Rory, the pre-tournament favorite by everybody, and of course my pick, 3 over. Xander Schauffele, 1 over. The defending champion, Justin Thomas, had a fair. He didn't hit the ball well, but his scrambling yesterday was outstanding. He hit a ball that was literally a foot away from a creek. He was lucky it didn't go in the water. And he's got to take off one shoe and sock to put his left foot in the water, his front foot. It's a downhill lie. I don't know how you do that. And the announcer, I don't know who it was, but it's cool because they have ESPN is playing the clips, right? And the guy's going, don't do it. Justin, don't do it. This is just total damage for you. Just take the drop. Don't do it. Oh, my God, what a shot. And he hits this shot after he took off his shoe, lofts it. It's like a half effort, too, because he couldn't hit it too hard. It was amazing. I also watched him hit one over the green. A lucky didn't go in the water there, out of the rough, and he holed it. So his scrambling was terrific yesterday. But we are off and running, and it is going to be terrific. Can't wait to keep our eye on that. Congratulations to Alasia Smith. She's the Tiger forward, played 2 years here, played her first 3 years at Gardner-Webb. I thought she would try to go pro. She's the most prolific rebounder in total rebounds in the school history, but not all at the U of M. Regina Street still owns that record. But Alasia is going to be a coach. She's going back to Gardner-Webb to be a coach. I wish her the best. I've always enjoyed talking with her. Tiger baseball yesterday lost 9-5 at Wichita State. So now they are in a must-win situation. They got to win the next 2 days in Wichita in order to make the AAC baseball tournament. And this was interesting. Caleb Williams quoted, well, his father, Carl Williams, quoted in a book that's coming out about quarterbacks. And it's all about quarterbacks and past ones and the ones that are great now and just the life of a quarter. I think it's called The King of the Sport or something of that nature, written by an ESPN guy. The Bears was not where Caleb Williams wanted to go. In fact, he thought about going to the UFL. You know that Jim Kelly did just that. He was going to go to the USFL in 1983 because he didn't want to be a Buffalo Bill. And then the USFL folded because if he had gone for the year, you could have been a free agent back then. He had to go to Buffalo. That was the only place you could get money. Of course, the rest is history. He became a Hall of Famer. But this is very damaging to the Bears organization. But all the guys they didn't want to really have to deal with, Eberflus and the OC who's slips my mind at the moment, Waldron. They both got fired. Shade Waldron, I think.
And Waldron.
Yeah. He didn't want to play for them. And this was really enlightening. If this is true, I don't see why they would lie. He told his dad he would go into the film room. Nobody would be there. He didn't know what to look for. He just looked at film all day by himself. He was getting no coaching. And yet he still threw for 3,000 yards and only 6 picks. So there's big hope for Caleb Williams and the Bears. Anyway, in my estimation. Busy show. I mentioned that we'll keep our eye on the leaderboard for you. Last time there was a PGA, it was in Louisville. It was making big news. We're going to go to Louisville here in a second. Paul Rogers, the voice of the Cardinals, will join us on the new 6-year deal and on the Preakness, because that's really what we chat with him about. He is our man on the Triple Crown. Then Andy Schiffman on the NBA will end our week with Munzie, and we'll be talking more Tiger basketball with the Commercial Appeal beat writer at that particular time. I'm sitting in the Family Leisure studio. Just a quick reminder, the pool time sale still going on. We're 24-foot pools under $2,000. That's installed. And if you mention Sports56, anytime you get that pool, installation is free. The liners are under $300. All pool accessories are 20% off. 5 to 6 person hot tubs, the giant ones that are so cool. $7,000 under that. It's a heck of a deal. All you got to do is get to I-40 and Wooden Road and just say pool time when you walk through the doors of Family Leisure. We head to Louisville, and I congratulate us. Paul Rogers, you and me, we talked about a deal just a few weeks ago before the Derby, and lo and behold, 6 years, Memphis and Louisville, the rivalry is back. Good morning.
We got it done, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah, I was. It was like the day after we talked last week that the announcement came out. I didn't even know. I'd heard rumblings that Louisville is kind of looking at anything and everything these days, and I knew Memphis was in the mix, but I was really kind of surprised when all of a sudden, poof, there it was, a 6-year deal with Cardinals and Tigers. Should be fun.
I have never heard of a 6-year deal. I'm so excited about this. I was hoping for a 2-year deal, maybe a 3-year with one home, one away, one neutral. I don't know, maybe Nashville. I don't know where that would have been. Memphis has played a couple of neutral games now in Nashville. But 6 years. I don't know all the detail. I know Memphis will be at Freedom Hall. I think it's December 20th, or Freedom Hall, Yum Center, on December the 20th. And then I'm assuming the next one next year would be in Memphis. But then, do we know it's home and home all the way, 3-3?
I have not seen anything specifically, but it's my understanding it is. And it's funny you misspoke Freedom Hall because Louisville signed a 2-year deal with Cincinnati, and the game here is going to be at Freedom Hall. Louisville
Really?
has never played at Freedom Hall since they left it after the 2010 season. I'm not sure why they decided to do that, but I think people are kind of keen to the idea. And they're playing Cincinnati, not at UC. That's going to be, I think, at whatever they call their downtown arena now.
Riverfront Arena? Isn't that?
Well, that's what it used to be called about 4 name changes ago, I think. I'm not sure what it is now. But
that's wild.
So anyway, yeah, the 6 years, it's my understanding it's going to be a home and home. See, last time we played was in New York, was it not?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah. I think these are home and home, but I wasn't sure if it was going to be 3-3. But I hope that's the case because I think that's what the rivalry should be, and the crowds will be better and more electric if one's at FedEx Forum and one's at the Yum Center. I didn't even know, honestly, Freedom Hall was still standing.
Yeah, it's still there. The small college here, University Bellarmine, actually made Freedom Hall their home court for a few years, although they left it last year because, frankly, it was too big for them, and they had to leave campus to do it, and their students were right there on campus, so they've gone back to playing on campus. But Freedom Hall has been there all along. It hasn't been used a lot for basketball, but it has from time to time. I guess probably its biggest function now is it's still the home of the State Fair Horse Show, which is a highly acclaimed event. So that's once a year, but it's used for other exhibitions and things too. Still, occasional concerts and the like. I haven't been in there, and I actually went there several years ago when Bellarmine played Cincinnati in an exhibition game there. So I really don't know. I know it got into a bit of a state of disrepair, but they spruced it up and had it nicer again once Bellarmine started playing, and it's been so long since I've been in there. I don't know exactly what the setup's going to be, but it'll be fun to go back.
Yeah, man, that sounds like a cool deal, really. The Mid-South Coliseum, by the way, is still standing, but it is not usable by any means. All right, let's get down to business. The 150th Preakness, there will be no sovereignty. This, by the way, is the 5th time in 7 years that no Derby winner is running in the Preakness. And I did find this interesting. I don't know if you pointed this out the last time we spoke prior to the Derby. All 19 horses that ran in the Derby were connected genetically to Secretariat. That's amazing. What an amazing horse that was.
Yeah, he was. I saw something about that later on, too. But it's sort of, over the years, as time goes by, it's almost always going to lead back somewhere. And then what better one than him? So nobody had been quite able to duplicate him. But he was a special horse and great memories of him. As for the fact that we just aren't getting Derby winners in the Preakness, I know we talk about this every year, but I was slow to come around, but I have come around to say they got to change it. And it would not cheapen it. I think people say, oh, that would make it easier to do, or you don't change something. We change things all the time. I mean, you're playing the PGA right now. It used to be played in August, and that doesn't cheapen golf's Grand Slam. So if you do something to space out these races in a better way, what you're going to get is better fields. You'll get the Derby winner back in the Preakness and the Belmont and so on. So I really think it's time to make that move. I don't know how the tracks are going to get together and pull it off, but in the meantime, here we are with no Derby winner. You do have a very good second-place finisher in journalism, and you have 2 others coming back to try it again out of the Derby field, but the Preakness field does not compare to the Derby field in any way.
Let's go back to this. I remember they tried to entice, I think it was American Express was the big sponsor, $10 million if you won the Triple Crown or something of that nature, and even the money did not draw those people because there's too much money, obviously, in breeding. So if and I don't know if breeding over the years has made horses more fragile, or I guess the breeding business just became too lucrative, where they're not risking a horse running 3 races in 5 weeks. Is that breeding? Is that money? Why did this occur where it's, in the last 10 or 15 years, too hard to do?
I'm not a breeder, but what you hear frequently is that horses are being bred much more towards speed, and they are more fragile. Some say they're breeding horses to sell as opposed to breeding horses to race. I'm sure there's some measure of truth in all that. But for whatever the reason is, horses just don't train and race the way they used to, and they're going to have to make the adjustment because the Triple Crown is the focal point of thoroughbred racing for those who aren't regular followers of the event. And you need to at least get that going, and then you have the Breeders' Cup at the end of the year. That's an exciting event, but it's more horse-centered, whereas the Triple Crown sort of seems to bring in the outside audience as well. But I think there's something to that horses just aren't as stout as they used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, they used to race. I mean, you'd come into the Derby. I'm going way back a ways, but you'd come into the Derby with 10, 15 races. Now they're coming in with 3 or 4.
Right.
It's just the game has changed. They aren't going to come back and run in 2 weeks. And so if the conventional alternative that people talk about is make them about a month apart and have the Preakness Memorial Day weekend and the Belmont 4th of July weekend, which makes sense, but Belmont probably isn't going to change because there's other series of races that go around those races. So another one is to leave the Belmont where it is, which is 5 weeks after the Derby, and then come back and run the Preakness a month later and make it the third race.
That's what I saw. And part of the reasoning was make the middle race the harder race. The last one, because you're still running 3 in a row, even though they're spaced out nicely, the last one would be easier than the middle one, which is the longest race that the horse will ever run.
Yeah, and that's part of the whimsy of the Triple Crown, too, is the fact that you run the Derby at 1.25 miles, which is longer than they've run before, and then you go to the Belmont, which is 1.5 miles, which is longer than they've run before and probably will never run again. Or, excuse me, then you go to you go to the Preakness,
Right.
which is a 16th of a mile shorter than the Derby, and then you go sleep back to the Belmont 1.5 miles. So it's the variance of distances, it's the variance in space. One is 2 weeks, one is 3 weeks. There's a variance in different tracks. So there's a lot there that make them tricky races, but it could still be a great challenge. And again, I think you would get stronger fields if you ran it where they were more spaced out and had a better chance of getting the same bunch of horses. You're always going to have a few other horses step in, but the main characters would be around for all 3.
Yeah, I think they got to do something. I hate it that there has to be change, but I do think the breeding is a big part of that. So let's get to this race. Journalism, who finished second in the Derby, was the overwhelming favorite in the Derby, is now the morning favorite again, 8-5 out of the 2 post. Is that a slam dunk? Is Journalism the horse to beat?
He is the horse to beat. He's the best horse in the race. You could hardly argue that. The question is, of course, he's never come back just 2 weeks after his previous race. So is he going to have gas in the tank or not? That's a variable that we just don't know. And you can say the same for American Promise and Sandman, who raced in the Derby as well.
Right.
But I do think Journalism is the best horse in the field. If you want to look, well, who's improving? Who can come in and make some noise? Well, you got goal-oriented. He's only won twice, but he's won them both. He's trained by Bob Baffert. You got Gosker. He's a bit of an outsider, but he's won 2 out of 3 and won the Lexington Stakes his last time out, which is one of the minor preps for the Derby. It is a points race, but doesn't have enough points, or doesn't have the highest number of points. Gosker didn't have enough to qualify for the Derby, but he and goal-oriented look like horses who are improving and haven't raced a lot. And you can never throw out a horse like American Promise. He had kind of a troubled trip in the Derby and really never got going and finished 16th. But Wayne Lucas is famous for scoring in these spots. He did it last year when the Preakness was seized the gray, when nobody gave him much of a shot. So you kind of always have to keep an eye on him. There's a lot of options here. I mean, there's some good price horses, but I do think the one that stands out, assuming he still races the way he's been racing, is Journalism. The style fits him, the distance fits him. He ran a winning race in the Derby. He just had one that ran a little bit better.
You mentioned goal-oriented and Baffert, who, by the way, has the most wins at 8. And then you mentioned American Promise, who's 15-1, and that's the Wayne Lucas entry. You know that he's got 7 wins. So if he were to win the race, and he did last year, he would get to 8, tying Baffert for the most. Of course, if Baffert wins, he distances himself. Goal-oriented is obviously 6-1 and rested because he didn't go to the Derby. American Promise 15-1. You think American Promise has any real chance? 15-1 and was in the Derby.
I don't like him personally. I think, frankly, the race that got him in the Derby was the Virginia Derby, which is a new race, but was a points race. But it was considered to be one of the weaker, if not the weakest, of the Derby preps. I frankly just don't see it from American Promise. But like I said, you just can never count out Wayne Lucas. I remember when he won with Seize the Gray last year. Seize the Gray had won on Derby Day, and one of the lesser races on Derby Day, and then he shows up at the Preakness, and you go, yeah, right. Well, of course, he wins.
Yeah,
so,
right.
It's hard to know for certain. But the Wayne Lucas factor makes him dangerous by itself.
Sandman at 4-1 out of the 7 post, and then the 5-1 out of the 8 post is Clever Again. As I mentioned, that's 5-1. Those are the other favorites besides Journalism. Is there a winner in those two?
Between Clever Again and what was the other one?
No, it was Goal Oriented, and Clever Again.
Yeah. I mean,
no, not Goal Oriented. Sandman, 4-1.
Yeah, I'm not wild about Sandman. A lot of people liked him for his closing ability, and he just never got rolling in the Derby. He did finish 7th, but he's beaten 12 lengths and never really made up ground in the race. He ran kind of an even race, and again, he's coming back after 2 weeks. I just don't see him mounting a closing kick that would get him there in this one. Clever. Goal-oriented 2 for 2. He won on Derby Day. He kind of following the Seize the Gray path from last year. He won a red. It was which race was it? It was the 5th race Derby Day. It wasn't one of the stakes anyway. He won a race on Derby Day here. And no, it was Oaks Day. It was the day before the Derby.
So that's a little history, a little bit like Seize the Clay last year. All right. So they're at the gate. They're going to go a mile and a 16th. They're off and running. How do you see it?
I think Goal-oriented from the 1 is going to go to the lead. He was in front of his last race, although he only raced twice. His first race did come from off the pace, but he was on the lead last time, and he's on the rail here, so I think you're going to see him up front. I don't think anybody wants to be really far back except for Sandman. He'll tend to lag back. The others are going to be up pretty close. I think it's pretty much anybody right up there close. I think Journalism will lay a little bit off. He got caught back a little further than he likes in the Derby, which sometimes happens in the big field, but still made a big move and ended up finishing 2nd. I think actually got the lead. It doesn't show in the running lines, but I think Journalism briefly actually got the lead at the top of the stretch and then it couldn't quite hang on to it. But I think he's going to be more mid-pack. I think he will come up with a big finish and win the race. I'm going to pick, I think, Gosper at 20-1 to get 3rd. I think he'll get 2nd. I think he'll be running close to the pace thing on for 2nd. And I could throw in anybody for 3rd, but I think I'm going to go with Goal-oriented. Hold on for 3rd.
Okay, love it. You are my guy. We'll talk in 3 weeks.
Try it again. We'll keep trying until we get it right.
I know you usually are close.
I've hit it a few times.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Paul Rogers, our voice of the Triple Crown in Louisville. Brought to you by Miramichi. Yes, they're open this weekend. You'll love what you see. They are getting more grass. It's growing every day. The greens are, now they'll be able to cut them a little shorter when it gets warmer. They're going to be so fantastic. The whole experience in Woodstock is truly a wonderful total golf experience from competition level. 5 tee boxes. You can play back 7,000 yards like they will for the Bubba. Or you can move up like senior tees or the women tees. You've got choice. Here's one thing that's a constant beauty, particularly the back 9 is a walk through the woods with a meandering stream and hills. And it's just so peaceful. And then there's the clubhouse with the food and the service. You can't beat it. The total golf experience, it's in Woodstock, not Millington. It's 25 minutes from my driveway in East Memphis. Go check it out. Tell them we sent you. You'll love the total experience of Miramichi. We take a break. We're going to Chicago. We'll talk NBA with our agent from Priority Sports. That's Andy Schiffman, and he comes your way in just a minute.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Visit Frontier Web
Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work in them by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. I have been told that my ads are all business and I should share some of my personality. Okay, I love tongue twisters, like the one about the terrific tasting toast by Taste Tester Toaster, or Big Black Bugs, Bleed Blue Blood, and of course Sally and her seashells. Or of course the ever-present I'm a Mother Pheasant Plucker, I Pluck Mother Pheasants. Okay, enough of that. If you want an honest, fair, reasonable roofing, siding, or gutter estimate, call Five-Ash Roofing at 367-0050. That's exactly what you'll get. No empty promises, no high-pressure sales tactics, and no fast-talking salesman trying to convince you that today and only today is the best day for you to get a new roof. For the record, the best day to get a new roof is when you're ready for one. Five-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
When you partner with CDW, your people get more out of technology. CDW AI architects deliver Microsoft services to automate tasks and boost productivity, helping sales reps connect with more customers, remote teams collaborate seamlessly, and small businesses compete at scale. That's amazing. Make amazing. Microsoft and CDW. Learn more at cdw.com/modern.
The Gossett Mitsubishi Motors spring sales event got thunderstruck, and the deals will shock you. All current inventory is not affected by new tariffs, so you can buy with confidence. And 2.99 for 60 months is available. 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV plug-in hybrid, $349 a month, or buy for $41,115 with a combined range of 420 miles. 2025 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, we Gossett, $28,545. 25 Mitsubishi Outlander, we Gossett, $32,130 or $499 a month. Plus, you always get peace of mind with our 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, and 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
SCO 11871, MSRP 46,000, Cross SC 007521, MSRP 29545, Sport SU 002440, MSRP 286, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax, title, license, see dealer for complete details, offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 11 to join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is a PCUSA church downtown Memphis. Of everything that is alive. The Wolo Friends on Sports 56. Is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Wolo.
Jonathan Vegas just birdied number 8. That means he's 7 under. That's 2 better than Matthew Pavon, who is 5 under today through 12. The Frenchman charging 2 behind Vegas. Round 2 of the PGA Championship at Quail Hollow. The hottest guy on the course through 15 is Max Homa, 6 under, almost had a hole-in-one, had a tap-in eagle on the drivable par 4. It was almost the first hole-in-one on a par 4 in major championship history. And this just in, the Ole Miss game moved up an hour. Broadcast time for the Ole Miss Auburn game tonight will be 5:30 right here on Sports 56. Let's head to Chicago. Our agent from Priority Sports is Andy Schiffman. Also in Chicago this week was P.J. Haggerty at the Combine, and apparently he did pretty darn well. I know you always have your ear to the ground. You may have been at the Combine for all I know. Andy Schiffman, give me your sense of, has P.J. Haggerty locked himself into a draft choice in the second round, or is he still going to be a free agent who may go back to college? Good morning.
Morning, Dave. Thanks for having me. Busy week here in Chicago with the NBA Combine. Yeah, I think that I don't necessarily know if PJ moved himself up enough to solidify getting guaranteed money in the NBA draft. He did participate in the live play, and I watched him and all the drills and things like that. I mean, to me, he really didn't stand out and really hasn't been a name that's kind of been talked about as someone that has kind of blown up at this Combine. But he has until May 28th to decide if he's going to withdraw from the draft, which is 10 days after the Combine. And he may have already done some team workouts prior to the Combine. He might still do a few more after that.
He's going to. Yeah.
So, look, I mean, all it takes is one team, right? If there is a team that likes him and wants to commit a draft pick to him before that 28th deadline to keep him in the draft with the understanding that he's not going to get past that team, that would be excellent for him. I don't know if that's going to happen because in this world that we're in with the draft, right, teams typically do not want to lose flexibility. And when I say that, I mean they are very reluctant, any team, to commit a draft pick to a player before this May 28th deadline, and it's always 10 days after whatever date the Combine ends, so it fluctuates from time to time, because then you lose the flexibility to